We're excited to head up to Crystal Mountain Resort and Spa for some great food, relaxation, and fun in the snow. Crystal Mountain is one of the premier places to stay in northern Michigan, so we were so blessed to be able to get to spend a few days there. There was so much to see when Casey and I arrived at Crystal Mountain. So we took a quick walk around before meeting Abby, who helped show us the ropes. Abby was kind enough to set up the week for us at the #1 resort in the Midwest. Casey and I were so excited.
I love walking in the snow and that special crunch, that sound you get underneath. It's pretty neat.
Now, we had every intention of heading straight to our rooms, but we couldn't help ourselves when we saw a frozen pond. Our inner skaters came out, and I think we were very graceful. Casey and I may have gotten a little distracted by cute shops and pretty things along the way. Crystal Mountain has so many different types of lodging, and they put us up in a bungalow, which is really another word for a cabin at the base of a mountain where lots of people ski, snowboard. So it's a very, very cool picture when you wake up in the morning, have a cup of coffee, and you see people just zipping down the hill. We heard how amazing the bungalows were, so Casey and I were so excited when we finally arrived. I've got to say, there's no better feeling than walking into a warm bungalow on a cold winter day. There's a story of a very interesting woman found in Proverbs 31. And I think as women, we're all a little bit afraid or skeptical of this because here is this woman who seems to have it all together. And then we look at our own lives and it's like, how are we supposed to live up to this standard set by her? But don't worry, we're going to kind of walk through it. Now, this story isn't normal. We don't know her name, her age, where she's from, but what we do know are character traits. We know that she's a hard worker. We know that she takes care of her family. We know that her husband has confidence in her. We know that she is smart and talented. But we know above all that she fears the Lord, and she puts more stake in the internal things, in matters of the heart, over any earthly thing out there. To the Proverbs 31 woman, leading a godly life, taking care of others, those are the things that are most important.
Of all the activities we have planned at Crystal Mountain, there's one that I'm really looking forward to: dog sledding.
To be honest, I didn't know much about dog sledding other than what I've seen in the movies. And based off of the movies, it looked amazing. And so I was so excited to be able to go dog sledding while here at Crystal Mountain. So we pull in, and here's Michelle, our musher. And here she's got all these dogs, and they're so cute. They're just these cute little doggies. And we get out there, she hooks them up, and it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. A sled pulled by dogs is this very surreal moment. You're being pulled by a bunch of dogs. It's incredible. But you have the wind blowing, you get to take in the scenery, very fun. I'd definitely do it again.
It was so much fun. You're gonna love it.
Was it awesome?
It was.
Oh, I can't wait! Thank you. Do I get the hat?
I need
the hat.
You do need the hat. You gotta.
If there's anybody out there who likes dogs, you would have been in heaven. It was so great being around all the dogs, getting to love on them, have them kiss our faces. I had such a good time.
It was very apparent to us that Michelle loved her dogs and took great care of them. She was so sweet, so kind, very gentle. She even let us give the dogs treats and give them water with special protein in it so that they kept up their energy.
Can you help?
Thank you.
How many treats do they get?
Oh, well.
Here, you get, well,
Okay.
that's why
We'll
they
do
feel the
every-
love from both of us.
Oh.
Did you get it?
Yep.
You want another treat? You want another treat? Good job. Those dogs were great. I loved getting to spend time with them and pet them and get to see their playful side.
Not all the bull.
There are certain things you expect to see when you're around dogs. Now, dogs have to use the restroom from time to time. What you don't see often is a camera being used as a fire hydrant.
No, I'm okay.
What happened, Cody?
He was marking his territory on my leg.
Where are you gonna harness on?
So everything's single stitched except for this part that we have to fold in half.
Okay.
To keep the dogs from getting overworked, Michelle helped us harness up a second group of dogs to take Casey on her sledding adventure.
And one foot goes on one side, one foot goes on the
Give me your
other.
little paw. Good job. Good job. Come here. Give me this one. There you go. Yay!
We'll slide it right over his
Like
head.
this?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Slide it right over his head.
Okay, right here?
Yep.
Hey, baby.
Oh, hi!
You got a good job.
Just come out of the way for you.
Come here. Come on this side. Give him some room. Some room.
Kind of furry. See where
And
his
then leg
feet go
goes through here?
Yeah.
Good job. Good job. The other thing. Oh, you're a pro at this. You're a pro at
I think he
this.
has a crush on you.
And based off of the noise level, I'd say the dogs were pretty excited.
My name is Sarah, and this is my story. I grew up in a broken family, one of three, the oldest. We were very poor. While my parents were still married, I remember days where my mom had to borrow toilet paper from her boss, or all we had to eat was raisins, that kind of thing. But we played a lot, and we had a good time, my brothers and I, so we learned to pretend, because you make do with what you have, so we did that. I think part of coming from a broken family is you don't really know where to go to find the approval and the acceptance you need. As a child growing up, needing a father and not really being able to find one. And so you look to other sources. Mine would be acceptance of men. I remember flirting with many young men, and I ended up falling for one in high school. And I really strongly felt that he wasn't God's will for me. But I told God one day that I chose him. And I went down that road and got married. Had 3 wonderful, beautiful babies. But while I was pregnant with my third one, the marriage wasn't so good. It was falling apart by that time. I just remember the summer was about 11 and a half years ago. In the summer, things were really falling apart. My husband at the time wasn't there very much at all. It was more like a hotel. He came and he slept and he left. And I was there to raise the 2 girls. And then in October, I started to notice a lot of bruising. So I went to the doctors and I said to, my husband at the time, I said, please remind me to ask the doctor about the bruising. And he's like, oh, the doctor's going to think I beat you. And I said, we both know that's not true, so let's just get it checked out, because it was worrisome to me, because all I did was, romp around on the floor with the kids, and I shouldn't have bruises in awkward places. So we talked to the doctor about it, and he said, well, standard procedure, we'll just do a test. And that test led to a lot of phone calls from the doctor later that evening. I was at church, and I really felt like it was kind of an attack not to be there that day. So I was going to go to church anyway, even though I wasn't feeling well, and I went, and I got several calls where the doctor left the pager number, the hospital number, the emergency room, every number he could think of to leave me to get a hold of him. And it ended up with getting my mom out of church that evening and going to the doctors, and they said, well, your test results aren't so good. We're going to run them again. And that test result didn't come back so good, so I was taken to Lansing by ambulance that evening, where it was discovered that I had leukemia while being almost full-term pregnant with my son. At that time, I found out that I had 6 weeks left to live, and I had probably about 2 months left of the pregnancy. So we had to make a decision, and it was a very difficult time because I had to decide between my life or my son's. And that was a very hard choice, but I had peace, because growing up I knew that God had things for me to do. And I hadn't done them yet, not all of them. And going to Africa and doing missions there hadn't been done yet, so I couldn't go. So I had peace and security knowing that I was going to make it through it. So going through that and having to make that choice, I had to choose to be also a parent to the 2 children that were living. So we had to choose to get the chemo while I was pregnant with my son. Prayed every moment, every day. We had people around the world praying, and he made it through it. And one of the biggest things, I guess I would say, is I had a dream before, and there were 2 babies being born. And one was a girl, and she was small and sickly, and the other was a boy, and he was big and healthy and happy. And we did a ultrasound, and when they finally told us it was a boy, I knew everything was going to be okay, that God said that this boy's going to be happy, he's going to be healthy, and he's going to be safe. And so we went through that, and he came, and he was big and happy and healthy, which he still is today. Just had his 11th birthday, and it's so exciting to see him every day, and it's a constant reminder of God's gift, because both of us shouldn't be here, and here we are today. So going through a divorce and cancer at the same time was really, really difficult. Feeling like going through like a broken heart at the same time as dealing with a disease was almost overwhelming, and it was like I had to deal with everything all at once. It came from all sides. And so dealing with that, God brought a lot of healing, a lot of wholeness, reminded me of dreams, since forgotten, at that point, and brought me back to a full place with Him. One of the things that He taught me to do while I was going through it was to let Him be God and be everything that I need. So when I was feeling broken and lonely, all right, Lord, I need a husband today. I need somebody to stand there by me. Okay, finances, I don't have it, Lord. I need help paying the bills this month. And it was always so bizarre to me, because even though I'd write it all down, and in my eyes, there was not enough to make it. At the end of the month, I had a surplus, because my God is big enough, and He was exactly everything that I needed and more. He paid my bills. I mean, I did my part. I went to work and I worked hard, but at the end of the month, there was money where there shouldn't be. I didn't feel lonely. I felt joy when I shouldn't have joy. It's just so great when I think about it, the amount of, I guess, influence He has on my life, and I cancer-free, 10 years, and my son is 11, and doing amazing, growing like a weed. And everything's good. Everything's great.
We had a blast dog sledding, but we were freezing, so we were insanely happy when we found a bonfire right outside our bungalow. Once we warmed up, we went to get ready for our newest experience, snowshoeing. I love a good pair of shoes, but snowshoes, whole different ball game.
Yeah, just like I told you. The worst possible thing that could ever happen in snowshoeing is for the backs to come off. I put it on the wrong foot. So you have to sit down, then stand up, then sit down and stand up. Aerobics. It is aerobics. This is slightly harder than it looked. Maybe. Okay. Nope. Nope. Yeah! Okay.
We'll work on that later. Yeah, that's...
Weemage! Michigan Legacy Art Park! Snowshoeing. Crazy. It's like having size 30 feet and trying to go as fast as you can in the snow. Snowshoeing lesson 101. If you're gonna go running, pick up the toe.
So we know what happens when you don't tighten it properly. It comes off. But you know, I think if it had not fallen off, Casey totally would have taken that race.
Thanks for the help. You're welcome. Okay, all right.
What can we learn from the life of this Proverbs 31 woman? Well, for starters, she doesn't live a life that needs to be intimidating, or we feel like if we cannot live up to these standards, that we automatically fail. This passage is given to you, to me, by our Heavenly Father as a guideline to live this godly life. He wants us to do well. He wants us to succeed. He wants us to be blessed and be a blessing to others. And that's what this is. This is just a Heavenly Father extending His hand toward His daughters, giving us a way to live life. What I encourage you to do is pray about this passage and see how it applies to your own life. Because whether it's 1,000 years ago or today, God's love and His guidelines haven't changed. So if we follow not just Proverbs 31, but the Bible as a whole, we're all going to be just fine.
Snowshoeing, fun,
Yes,
but
you gotta
get
get
really
some
put your
muscles.
into it.
That's what it takes.
when you are strapping them on, because if you don't, they will fall off.
Your heel just right out.
And it will make for some fun times.
All right.
Well, onward.
Thank you.
All right. There it is. Come on, big feet. Oh, great. There it is. Yeah. Gotcha. Snowshoeing is nothing like I imagined.
That's the truth. I imagined it a little differently. I think we're getting the hang of it, though.
I think we did really well.
We lost our balance there for a little bit. I went one way, she went another. I'm not quite sure what happened.
Anybody could fall.
But sometimes you fall and you learn from your mistakes.
But every time you fall, you get back up, right?
That's right.
I'm gonna help myself up this time.
The more I do this show, the more I realize how important friendships are in our lives. I have some of the best friends, and Casey being with me on this road trip is incredible. She's always somebody that I can laugh with, that I can share my heart with, and that I can goof off with. And we have a lot of fun on this show. And really, that's what life's about. It's about having fun, and it's about sharing that fun with people around you. In all of life's adventures, the ups and the downs, knowing that you have a friend who will be there to laugh with you, to cry with you, to pick you up when you fall, it means everything in the world.